Hello and welcome to the Black Entrepreneur Blueprint Show. I am your host, Jay Jones. Black Entrepreneur Blueprint was created specifically to educate and inspire Black entrepreneurs to launch, build, and grow successful businesses. Join us as we help build an economic power base in the Black community by promoting business ownership. If you are currently an entrepreneur or want to be an entrepreneur, we invite you to join us every week here at Black Entrepreneur Blueprint.
Welcome to the Black Entrepreneur Blueprint, episode number 231. I'm your host, Jay Jones, and today we have a dynamic show in store for you. Today we're going to be speaking with Miss Sarita Pittman, and you're not going to want to miss her amazing entrepreneurial journey. Now, before we get to today's episode, I just want to share a few things. Number one, my new book is out, A New Black Wall Street, Circulating the Black Dollar Worldwide by Building Successful E-Commerce Businesses. So if you're interested in building a successful, sustainable e-commerce business, please go to anewblackwallstreet.com. Pick yourself up a copy. It's $14.95 plus shipping and handling. And it would also make a great gift for anybody that's interested in building a part-time or full-time e-commerce business. Now, for those of you who need additional assistance building your successful, sustainable e-commerce business, I've built a compatible online course at educatedecommerce.com. So you can enroll in the course. Go to educatedecommerce.com. It takes you from point A to point Z, from concept all the way to fruition on Amazon, on your own sites, and on eBay. Now, I just put out a social media post a couple of days ago, and I was talking to one of the BEB family members, a young brother from DC who was in college and actually was working full time. And so he needed an additional stream of income, and he wanted to take the course, but he didn't have the money. So what I did was I created a coupon code for him, and I gave it to him. Instead of the $497 investment, I saved him $300, and he was able to get into the course for $197. And after I did that, I said, you know what? I might as well do that for the rest of the BEB family. So if you were thinking about taking Educated E-Commerce, now is the time to do it. So if you go to educatedecommerce.com, you hit the $497 drop down to enroll. And once you get to the coupon portion, put in coupon SAVE300, SAVE 300, SAVE300. And then when you check out, it'll be a $197 investment as opposed to $497. Now, this is good up until midnight, Tuesday, December 18th. So just go to educatedecommerce.com, hit the $497 drop down, and once you start enrolling in the course, it'll ask you for a coupon code. Coupon code is SAVE300, which will take $300 off the course, so your investment will be $197. Now, for all you Black product producers, I've created a platform, BeSmartByBlack.com. So if you want to connect with Black consumers worldwide, it's free. Put your products up on BeSmartByBlack.com. Also, for all you freelancers, I didn't forget about you. My other platform is Hire Black Freelancers, and this connects Black freelancers to Black consumers and businesses that are looking to hire Black freelancers worldwide. So go to Hire Black Freelancers with an S. Now, on to today's show. Today, family, we're going to be talking to Miss Sarita Pittman. She has an amazing story. She started her entrepreneurial journey when she was in middle school, and it's continued all the way to today. So stay tuned as we talk to Miss Sarita Pittman. And we are on the line with Miss Sarita Pittman. Sarita, how are you this morning?
I am fantastic. Even better now that I'm on here with you.
I like that. Sarita, you are the founder of, now make sure I'm saying this right. Is that Atira's International?
Absolutely. You said it 100% correct.
For my listeners who aren't familiar with you, give me a little bit of background about you, and then we're going to jump into your entrepreneurial journey. Who are you? Where are you from? and then we're going to jump into your entrepreneurial journey.
I am Sarita Pittman, the founder of Atira's International Coaching Academy. I am a longtime entrepreneur. I'm a wife. I'm a mom. I hail from the beautiful city of Savannah, Georgia. And most importantly, I am an entrepreneur that loves to help other people win. I have started, not necessarily from the bottom, but I am here. I have a passion for people, purpose, profits, and processes. And I'm just excited to be able to bring the knowledge that I have and the lessons that I've learned. I tell people all the time, my mistakes are their lessons. So I'm just excited to be able to talk to your audience and create some synergistic kind of conversation today and just let people know that the entrepreneurial journey may not be easy, but it's so worth it.
All right. We appreciate that intro. When we spoke off air yesterday, we talked about, did you start off as an employee and then go into entrepreneurship? And it's funny because most of my listeners seem to come from employee or transition from employee to entrepreneur. And you went straight at it. You didn't even waste time, huh? Tell us how
not at all.
Tell us how you started your entrepreneurial journey.
Well, I started in the beauty industry doing hair at my parents' home. I started in middle school. I was the go-to young lady in school when it was time for the dances. I would do the hair, curl the hair. Back then, we had the rotted ponytails. I know I'm telling my age, but you would rod the hair, put it in the microwave. Don't let it, you have to get it perfect. You can't let it cook too long or not enough. I perfected that hairstyle, and all the girls in my school, my mom would let them come over because I couldn't go to their house. And I would do the hair, and it just started like that. And I just transitioned to go further in depth in the beauty industry and transition to go even further in the professional coaching arena. But I started in my parents' bathroom doing hair.
After you got out of high school, you started into your own full-time business right after high school?
Absolutely. Actually, I had a full-time business in high school. I still was doing hair. For the senior pictures, I was the person that did hair. For the proms, I did hair. For the football games, I did hair. So if I wasn't in class and in school, I was doing hair. And then I still was an employee, too, at that time because I was working at KFC. Got to give a shout-out to those chicken wings that paid me. But, yeah, so I had a full-time job, believe it or not. After school, I was doing hair.
You've been hustling for a long time.
Absolutely.
All right. So tell us about your first business. Obviously, it's the hair business. Then eventually you said you transitioned into coaching, correct?
Yes. Okay. I was in the beauty industry for 20 years, though, and I incorporated coaching into my business model. Immediately after high school, at 17 years old, I went into the technical school colleges and learned nail technology and master cosmetology, which then led me to aesthetics and massage therapy, kinesiology studying, and eventually holistic healthcare. So I went to school for all of those trainings, became a holistic healthcare practitioner, and incorporated, again, that plus coaching into my business model. So, I was able to charge that higher price bracket for services because I created power partnerships with doctors' offices. My business became credentialed, and I was able to get discounted services and take insurance for massage therapy. So I was an out-of-the-box kind of thinker. I learned that, you work smarter, not harder. And then once I transitioned a little over 5 years ago now, out of doing the one-on-one beauty services, I went solid into coaching only and doing some behind-the-scenes beauty protocol development for major beauty brands. But other than private label services in the beauty industry, my primary focus is business building for people of service providing niches, if you will, and also educating people on how to coach. So That's what I do full time now.
All right. We're going to get to that part in a minute. I just want to talk to you about how did you finance your initial business after you got out of high school? Because that's a major issue, especially it seems it's intrinsic to Black entrepreneurs because we may not have the resources available that others do. So how did you finance your initial business?
My dad gave me his Target card and said, you better make it work.
That's great.
I mean, I didn't have all of the funding, and people laugh. When I tell my story, my dad gave me the Target card and he said, you better make it work. I went and bought trash cans. I bought some towels, a cabinet to put my towels in, and I just had to continue to do that service providing of when I did someone's hair, when I did a service, I went and bought the shampoos, bought the color, and then it went from me, my dad seeing that, okay, you made the Target card work, then I graduated to the American Express. He believed in it. So he could have initially given me the American Express card, but he wanted to see what I could do with what I was given. Because oftentimes we look at what we don't have, and we so often, especially our culture, we'll sit on our gifts and look at every reason why we can't do it. I had a hunger and a passion, and I knew I would hear his mouth if I didn't make what he gave me work. So, I did that, and then that American Express came in handy, so I was able to get better towels and some capes and different things like that, and I haven't looked back. I've always, after my dad gave me those cards, my services funded my business. I was my biggest investor.
Okay. After that, you kind of funded yourself or self-funded your business. Now,
absolutely.
Is your dad, or do you have a history of entrepreneurship in your family? Because the support that your dad gave you, some people that I talk to in my coaching business, they don't have that type of support. Was your dad an entrepreneur, or he just saw your vision?
He was not an entrepreneur. He grew up on the field of working on the railroad. He was a worker, like seriously. Went in the railroad business as an apprentice in his teens, and then when he retired, he was the director of safety for CSX. But my grandmother was an entrepreneur, and my mom was an entrepreneur. So essentially, I was the third generation of entrepreneurship in my home. But he saw that I was consistent from middle school, and I was still doing it after I graduated high school. And he said, okay, if you're this passionate without any support other than us letting you do it in the house, and he didn't want, and then after I did it in the house, I started going to people's homes, and he said, no, I don't like that. I don't know whose house you're going to. So if you're this passionate, let's see how much further you can go if I invest in you. So if he saw my passion and drive, and that's what made him say, okay, yes. And sometimes we don't have that support, but believe it or not, people are looking to see how passionate you are. And if we aren't consistent and show our passion, we sometimes miss out on the opportunity to have that person to invest in us. So, I'm grateful that I am the third generation entrepreneur in my family, but my dad saw my hustle, if you will, and saw my passion and my work ethic.
Yeah, that's a blessing to have that support. And sometime as an entrepreneur, we'll have a pushback even from our immediate family. It could be a spouse. It could be brothers or sisters. Like, oh, what are you doing? You left a great job. Why are you doing this? And they just don't understand. And you mentioned the passion. And so if you're passionate about something and you're consistent, I was talking to a young lady the other day that's interested in creating a podcast. And I said, one of the biggest things is consistency. I said, for 4.5 years, every Monday morning, 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, you're going to get a new Black Entrepreneur Blueprint podcast. And I've never missed a podcast on a Monday. So it's consistency, and your dad saw that in you and that drive. And if you've been doing it since you were in middle school, hey, there was no doubt about it that you were serious.
Absolutely.
Did you have fun in middle school and high school? You do anything else besides work?
Believe it or not, I grew up in a home that we went to church, we went home, and we went to school. So, a lot of times, a lot of the other kids in school could go to parties and everything. And this is my alibi for not being able to go to parties, was I had to work. So it was like a coping mechanism for me, honestly, because I couldn't go to the parties and other things that people could go to just because my parents were like, no, I don't know them and things like that. And they could come to my house. So my thought process, even at that point, is if you come in here, let me do your hair. Right. So I can have some fun, make some money, and then not feel bad about not being able to go do what all the other kids could do. So that was really my coping mechanism. I had fun doing the hair.
There you go. You made lemonade out of lemons, as you would say, huh?
Absolutely.
All right, great. Now, I wanted to ask you how or what made you transition from the beauty industry into the coaching space. And I know you said they were integrated, and what made you make that final break? And if you can just tell us how that happened.
Well, my health majority is the reason that caused me to pivot. A little over 5 years ago now, I was 7.5 months pregnant. My doctor had told me, you need to really slow down. My stress level was extremely high. And essentially, she told me, you need to stop. And I was like, really? And I didn't realize my stress level was high because I was just handling my business. And she was like, you've been doing it for so long that what you're accustomed to is normal, but your stress level is extremely high. And my husband and I have been told that I was not going to be able to have children. So the fact that I was pregnant, I had this amazing business that I had built, this beauty empire, and things were just starting to push me to go left, and I was steady trying to go right. And then when I was told that you need to stop, it just caused me to pivot. And I had already been feeling that in my belly, or my spirit, if you will, my intuition. And it was really time for me to transition, because all of my services essentially were coaching services coupled with the beauty service, coupled with the aesthetic service, the massage service. It was that. So it was easier for me to transition and pivot into doing coaching full time. I still kept my clients. My beauty clients are still my coaching clients. I still help them connect. I'm connected to them. So it was that caused me to have that major pivot and shift in my business.
Okay. Are your coaching clients, were they shop owners, or who were actually your clients at the time?
My clients were doctors, lawyers, accountants, teachers, educators, entrepreneurs, business owners. What else? That's pretty much it.
Okay.
Other beauty professionals, and that's what the bulk of my clients were when I was doing hair, and that is what I attract. Don't know why. They say seeds reproduce after their own kind, so that personality and my energy and my vibe just attracts that kind of tribe.
What motivates you to get up and do what you do every day? Because I know it sounds like you're on fire right here. So what makes you get up and do that every day?
I know what it feels like to struggle in business and not have anyone that you are comfortable with asking the question. My grandmother was an entrepreneur all of my life that I've known her. She's deceased now, and I saw her establish an enormous amount of wealth. But when she died, she didn't have any of that. And in that lesson, with me growing up and watching her, I said, I don't want to be the one to acquire it and not be able to maintain it. And so oftentimes as service providers, especially in our community, we know how to do a thing because we are the thing that we do, but the sustainability of it, having the systems in place, understanding how to build generational wealth and become a wealth distributor in your community, a lot of us don't know that. And it's not our fault. You know, a lot of other people got hundreds of years of head start on us, so it's not our fault. But at the same time, I know what that feels like and to see it. And I have a passion for maintaining it, being able to duplicate myself and be able to leave something behind that's sustainable, build a business that's sellable, because even though I transitioned out of the beauty industry, I sold my business. It didn't take a loss. So I have a passion for seeing other people do it, because I know, like we say, a lot of times the struggle is real. It really is. So helping others is what drives me and what motivates me.
It seems like you were passionate about your business, what you were in the beauty industry, and you always get the question, and I'm sure you get it too in your coaching business, and we're going to transition into that in a second. But do people always ask you, should you follow your passion or should you go after the money? Do you get that question?
Absolutely. And I think they're synonymous. The terms are like, there may not be identical twins, but they're fraternal twins at least, because my passion is always produce profit, you know?
Right.
So, you know, and this is my thing. I tell people all the time, you have to do what's right for you. In real life terms and business, I've been passionate, but it was points in my business building career that I had to get another job. So sometimes we don't understand that there's a process to this thing called success. I didn't wake up like this. You know, some songwriters say they did. That's not my testimony. Mm-hmm. But I had a second job and in working 12, 13, 14, sometimes 18 and 20 hours a day, so I can be able to then streamline my processes and not have to do that. So, you know, when people ask me that question, I say, where are you in your business? Where are you in your bank account? If what you're doing right now isn't as profitable as you want it to be, it's okay to have something else that's going to generate some income. Do what you have to do, so then you can do what you want to do. You know, we have to live in the real world. I don't know about you. I'm sure you can attest to the same thing. Every day was not a super, super great day on the profit margin, but now that we know better, we do better.
That's right. And we're going to get into that too. Tell us, Sarita, what you're actually doing now with your coaching business, and who are your ideal clients or customers?
Right now, my primary focus is to educate professionals, people in the corporate arena, service providers, people that are passionate about taking their business to the next level, passionate about serving people, passionate about increasing their profit and learning how to create multiple streams of income based off their skill set. That's who I connect with. That's who I have a passion for, because it's really true. You can work smarter and not harder, and we need to have multiple streams of income. So that's what I do, and I do that via my 8-week coaching certification program. Our program, you come through, you learn how to incorporate coaching into your current business model. So no matter what you're doing, if you're an expert in your field, coaching could be a solid stream of sustainable income for you. So you come through our program, you're accredited. Once you graduate, you'll be a board-certified professional coach. You come through, you learn how to coach people, help them achieve their goals, avoid burnout, improve your leadership skills. And not only that, you understand how to build a sustainable and sellable business if you need to as a coach. So I'm passionate about those individuals that say, hey, I'm an expert. Let me profit from my expertise and create another stream of income while I'm serving my community, while I'm helping other people get to their best level. So that's my niche. That's what I do, and I love doing it.
Great.
And I'm good at it, too. I had to throw that out there. I am an expert at doing that. You know, I had to do a self-plug. No shame. No shame.
No, that's it. You got to do it. Give me an example of, and I'm sure you have tons of them, of a client that came to you. What was the issue, and how did you help them resolve that issue? Almost like a brief case study, if you don't mind. This way, the BEB family will get a broader idea of what you actually do and how you can help people.
Well, one thing, a lot of customers come to me and say, I'm burned out, and I want to make more money, but there's no more of me to give. And I can relate to that totally. So what I do, this is like a repeat case. So I just wash and rinse and just help people over and over again. But I show people how to turn what they're doing now into a passive stream of income for them. So then they can relax. And with the relaxing part, a lot of us are afraid to relax a little bit because we are in survival mode. You know that, if we relax a little bit, hold on, I'm going to be off my game and not going to make money. But if you can create a stream of income that's passive in your business model, that will alleviate some of that stress, and you'll be surprised the creativity level that will increase within you. Because when you're thinking about money all the time, your creativity is getting choked out. So that's what I teach people, to help have that passive stream of income, and then that passive stream turns into another stream and turns into another stream, and then the light bulbs start going off. They get more creativity and they feel free, and then they understand that they can create their own personal economy. So that's my brief case study, if you will.
You hit it on the head. There's been times when going through my business, I've owned over 17 different businesses throughout my career. And sometimes, like you said, they're up, sometimes they're down. But I find that it's very hard to think when you're worrying about making sure that your lights are going to stay on. That focus that you have sometimes gets taken away because you're worrying about, man, I don't know if I have the money to take care of my basic necessities. And I'm all for that passive income stream that's going to alleviate that. I talked to my pastor one day and I asked him, I said, why do you think people don't do what they're actually designed or put here to do? And he gave me a one-word answer, and he said, debt. I said, that's a pretty good answer. He said, most people are so busy on that proverbial treadmill trying to, make sure they have their monthly nut covered that they can't do the things that they're supposed to be doing, that God assigned them or designed them to do, because they're too busy trying to make that 5, 8, 10,000, 20,000, whatever your monthly nut is each month. And you're too busy doing that as opposed to focusing, if you didn't have a lot of debt, or if you were debt free, where you can do what you were supposed to do. So no, I understand that. That stress of money, it does not help your cognitive, your thought process, because there were times where I couldn't even think about, I knew I needed to do this, but it was hard for me to just to press forward and go through. And once again, you learn that from experience, and now I know how to negate that. So speaking of that, tell me about a time in your business that you came into an issue that you had to overcome. Maybe you failed. What did you learn from that? But give us a specific issue, because the BEB family knows that it's not just straight from 0 to 100. You go through ups and downs as an entrepreneur. So can you give us an instance where you struggled or failed, and what you learned from it and how you overcame it, if you did overcome it?
One of my biggest issues in business was making a decision with using both my head and my heart. I have a giving heart. I'm really kind. I want to see people win. And all the times I did not do what was best for my business. And I learned over the years that when you make a decision, you have to bring your head and your heart to the table. and people will prey on your emotions. And I had to learn that I'm not being mean because I'm making a business decision. I would feel guilty if I made a decision and it wasn't best for everybody at the table, but it was best for business. And when I was okay with being able to overcome that, oh, I'm going to hurt their feelings. Oh, what if? Because at the end of the day, I would oftentimes see myself holding the short end of the stick. And I said, you know what? There's nothing wrong with making a decision that's best for business. And we can chop it up over here. We can go eat some ice cream and have some nuggets later on, whatever. But right now I have to make a business decision. And I had to understand that business does not run by osmosis. You have to run your business or your business will run you. And I had to grow up and improve my business IQ and say, you know what? I'm smarter than this. If I'm smarter than this, why aren't I farther than this? And it was based on my decision, my lack of confidence in myself, to make a decision that wasn't always good for the masses, but it was good for my bottom line, my business practices and procedures, and the culture of my business. So once I was okay with that, my life changed. And I was okay, and I didn't feel like a bully anymore. I was like, I have to do it. And it was okay. And when you change that, people respect you. Either if they don't respect you in your face, behind your back, they will at least respect you to your face because you're like, nah, I can't even try that with her or him. So that was my biggest hurdle in business. And once I overcame that, and being married to my husband, who's a car dealer, that definitely helped me improve my business confidence and IQ. So just being able to make those decisions, those real tough decisions, and be confident in my choices.
Was there a specific incident that, because you sound like you're talking about something that was passionate or that touched you, was there a specific incident that highlighted that? Or is it just an overall feeling that you have, the reason that you answered that way?
Well, I remember having to build a team. I know people had great intentions, but their skill set wasn't there. Gotcha. So oftentimes I would bring people in and I would say, oh, I can train them. They're so sweet. They're good. And you need to have people that's loyal on your team, because one person's 100% is 20% to someone else. But I had to say, okay, these people are good, but are they skilled? So that decision right there was tough, because I was like, oh, they need it, but they didn't come with the skill level that I needed, or they didn't have the understanding and the wherewithal to do it. So I had to be okay with not just looking for a person that had a good heart. Or do they have a good heart, and are they skilled? So that was one of the biggest things that I had to, because you want to help everybody, but then sometimes in the helping part, you hinder yourself.
And I know that personally, and it can get tough. When I owned my mortgage business, one of my business partners, who's like my brother, we had another friend who had been going through some hard times, and he needed employment. So we were like, okay, why don't you train to be a loan officer? And I told my partner, I'm like, look, bro, I said, don't ever hire somebody that you can't fire. Right? I know it's personal. We all are like brothers. I said, but business is business. Long story short, started off well, didn't end too well. And I sat him down. My buddy that hired him was like, man, I can't fire dude. I'm like, well, tell my boy to come on in. We all been friends for 20 years. And I'm like, look, bro, I said, now, if you were me, would you fire yourself? And he was like, yeah. And I said, well, there we go. All right, we still buddies, but we can't do business together, because if I treat you differently, then what are the other employees going to say? Because I can't show favoritism, even though we've been friends for 20 years, and it just didn't work out. And that was a hard lesson that I knew from the beginning. But my business partner, he just didn't get it at first. I'm like, dude, don't hire anybody that you can't fire. I don't care if it's your mom, your cousin, or whatever, because we do want to help. We have that helping nature. But the bottom line is the bottom line. And in this case, it was not disrespect, but if you're not going to give your all, and I'm not going to take an L for that, because I got a family to feed. So, yeah, that's tough. So when you deal with that personnel type things, and when it comes to people that you want to help, family or friends, that can be very, very dicey. So the BEB family, light bulb should go off in your head. If you can't fire somebody that you hired, don't hire them. All right?
Absolutely.
Because it'll
bleed over into other areas. I mean, I was just like, okay, I got to do this, because you don't want to hurt anybody, but at the same time, you realize, wait a minute, are you thinking about me the way I'm thinking about you?
Not at all. Not at all. The dude would be gone from work 2-3 days. I'm worried about it as a brother. Yo, you okay? We don't hear from him. Come back to work disheveled, and I'm like, Come on, man.
Mm-hmm.
If it was anybody else, you would have been gone. I gave you a little bit more leeway because I've known you for so long, but it just got to the point where now you're jeopardizing the team and the morale and the leadership. And I said, that can't happen. So that's a tough thing. So make sure, BEB family, anybody that you hire that you're able to fire, because sometimes it gets like that. So
absolutely.
Now you had mentioned something that stuck out to me, that when you transitioned, you actually sold your other part of your business, the beauty aspect of your business. Now, do you have an exit strategy for your coaching business?
Absolutely. And that's what I teach. I teach people that you need, and I learned it from my grandmother talking about raising children. Don't raise your child in a way that somebody besides you will love them. And I teach people to do that for their businesses. Grow your business in a way that somebody besides you can run it, somebody besides you can own it, somebody besides you loves it. And when you do that, you put procedures and processes and back office systems in place that if push came to shove, it's something that somebody can take and grow it from where you have taken it. And we don't do that a lot of times. We learn how to have a business and be a business, but we're afraid of that component of business many times. And I have done it. I've sold plenty of businesses over and over again, and it's profitable. So, that's what I teach. So that was my exit strategy from a long time ago. I have to build it in a way that just besides me, another person besides myself will love it and be able to earn from it.
It's funny. I just recorded an episode called The Power of Process. And so, and you have to have processes set up in order to be successful, because a lot of times we end up building a business that's just predicated on us. And so once we decide that, hey, we're out of the business, there's really nothing to sell. And so it's about setting up processes, standard operating procedures. And I know you talk about that, I'm sure, in your coaching. So anybody can come in and do whatever task or whatever is necessary to keep the business moving. That's definitely positive. Now, where do you see yourself in your business in 5 years?
Where do I see myself? That's a good question. In 5 years, I see myself in my business at the level that wherever it's going to be is going to be. I've learned not to limit myself. I do see myself in a position that I've helped a whole lot more people know about the coaching industry and how to successfully incorporate that into their business model. I see myself healthier and leaner in my business. But I really just see myself enjoying the process of being a business owner. For so many years of my business building, I was just on that building side. And now that I'm much wiser and much more resourceful and understand the processes and partnering with technology, I see myself enjoying entrepreneurship in a way that I didn't in my earlier days of business.
Now, do you have virtual assistants or do you have full-time employees? How's your business set up?
I have both.
Okay.
It depends on the task. I just believe in delegation, but I delegate things that I cannot do or weigh me down. So my skill set is vast because growing up in the industry, I didn't have the money to pay everything. So I would sit down and learn. I would learn a skill. I would learn how to create something that I needed. So what I've mastered, I hold on to. But those other things that aren't necessarily my genius or not necessarily things that I can do it extremely quickly, I delegate those. And then I just handle what my true genius is, and that way I don't feel burdened and tied down because I can execute it seamlessly.
Now, did you have a problem when you had to start delegating? I know a lot of entrepreneurs have that
Of
issue.
course I did. I still do. Look, I had a problem. And that's just the thing. People don't understand that. People think, oh, my gosh, I'm the only one struggling with delegation. No, because you have to trust that a person is going to do it like you. And the truth is, no one could do everything like you, but you. So you have to be okay with that learning curve, and you just have to understand that, okay, I can make it, and calm down, go light a candle, go do some yoga, take a jog or whatever, because every big business, small business or whatever, they have to do it. Perfect example. Do you have a favorite restaurant, Jay?
Yeah.
You have a restaurant that you absolutely love, and you know it's your favorite thing. You go and order it. And then you go back a month later and you be like, wait a minute, somebody else cooking today. This don't taste like what I'm normally eating. Same thing.
Yep.
But that restaurant didn't close. But you be like, man, where's my guy? Where's my guy? I don't see him back there. I knew it. I knew he was off today. Okay, when are you off? You try to come back when that person is. So that's just the nature of the beast. And we just have to adapt and accept the fact that we cannot be everywhere and everything at all times. But I struggle with that. I don't even know until Jesus comes. I may struggle with that, but it's a reality.
So let me ask you, we all know that if you don't have customers, you're not in business, right? So what are your most effective marketing techniques to attract new business?
Putting myself out there and being consistent and having word of mouth, testimonials, making sure that you're visible constantly. And a lot of times we aren't visible to the right people. We don't understand that friends and clientele are not synonyms. They're not always interchangeable words. So we have to be okay with putting ourselves out there in a place that people need what we have, and we can solve that problem. But consistency in the marketplace in front of your target customer, word of mouth, and always constantly pulling a testimonial and having a database of testimonials that you can constantly share and keep in front of the eyes of the people that desire to probably connect with you. That helps me 100%.
You do any video testimonials?
I do from time to time. That's not my biggest thing. I'm probably going to adopt that a little bit more in 2019. But I have a large amount of video testimonials, but majority of them are written. But a testimonial is a testimonial. And the good thing, the way I structure my business is, the people that volunteer to do my testimonials, they can be contacted. So it's not like it's a paid, testimonial.
Now, when somebody comes into your coaching program, are they working specifically with you, or do you have any of your employees working with them also, or is it just your interaction per se?
It depends on what program they're in. We have a few different programs. So if you are in a leadership program, you're going to work with me and you're going to work with some of my other facilitators. If you are in the Christian side of the business building coaching arena, you're going to work with myself plus another instructor who's well-versed in in theology and has major church campuses all around the nation. And then outside of that, you're going to interact with people that you come through the program with, because we have an income earning component of our program too, that you get paid as being a connector to our program. We even have a Maserati car club. So, we have various components of our business, of my business model. So at various times, depending on the course that you're selecting, majority of the touch points come from me though.
Okay. It's funny because a lot of the Black Entrepreneur Blueprint family members, when we have guests on, they want to be able to connect and say, hey, I heard such and such on the show. Can I reach out to Sarita? Is she going to connect with me? And I'm like, yeah, of course. I said, that's why we bring people on like that, because we definitely support everybody that comes on to the BEB platform. And Sarita, before we close out, how can our listeners contact you? Give me all your social media handles and everything like that. Then we have a couple more questions. But how can our BEB listeners contact you or get in touch with you for your services?
Awesome. If you want to come through our program, you can go to Get Coached Up. That's GetCoachedUp.com. That's definitely how you can connect to come through the program and become a certified coach yourself. So in turn, you can do what I'm doing and do what you're doing as a profession. Then secondly, if you want to connect with me on a personal one-on-one basis, you can go to SaritaPittman.com. That's Sarita Pittman with two keys, Pittman.com, and connect with me via that website. You can also follow me on social media at Get Coached Up Now. You can go to Instagram and go to Get Coached Up Society, look up Atiras International on Instagram, and just follow us and connect us. And you can actually go, if you want to get some tips, business tips on a consistent basis, you can sign up for the newsletter at getcoachedup.com as well. Sometimes, you have to keep feeling something and seeing if it's really edifying you and growing you before you want to make the next step. So connecting with me through a newsletter and getting those business tips will be essential for your growth, and it will help us, too, to stay connected.
Okay, cool. We appreciate that. Now, is there anything else you'd like to add before I ask the final question?
Well, I just really want people to understand that coaching does not have to be this thing that you believe that you have to have a massive amount, a ton of customers to make it. A lot of times we look at people that fill up stadiums and we say, oh, I'm not them. I don't have that following. I don't have that influence. That's not true. We oftentimes equate our success and compare our success to someone else's. You can profit right where you are. I teach all of my students, all of my graduates, all of my clients that everyone on this earth was born with a built-in wealthy place. When you learn how to tap into that, you never, ever are in lack. So that's what I want people to walk away with, understanding that I am a professional coaching expert. You can contact me if you really want to take your coaching business to the next level and make passive streams of income. Connect with me. But I'm excited. I'm just excited. That's another thing I want people to know. I'm still passionate. I'm just as passionate as that little girl in middle school doing hair. That's how passionate my passion has not died at all.
I can hear that, and that's important. All right, Sarita, you ready for this $64,000 question, this last question?
I'm scared. If it's gonna make me a $64,000 deposit, let me know. Let me know I got your answer.
I bet not ask it. But all right. If you had the opportunity to talk to one person, living or dead, who would it be and why?
It would be my grandmother.
Tell us why.
And you trying to make me cry at the end of the podcast? You trying to make me cry?
This ain't Oprah. I ain't trying to get no tears from you.
It's a setup. You trying to set me up. You trying to set me up for your community to see the coach, the lady wealth builder, is crying on the air. But I would speak to my grandmother and talk to her and let her know that her labor was not in vain. That even though that her life did not end the way that I'm sure she desired it to, that it wasn't in vain. And it didn't matter what I saw her with or didn't see her with. She still was my grandma, and I loved her and appreciated everything she ever did for me, even when I was at my lowest, because I suffered from eczema and psoriasis so bad that I couldn't even wear shoes for 3 years. Wow. But my grandmother would get me as a little girl, and she would put a bowl of water and peroxide and soap and get a soft bristle toothbrush and clean my feet because I couldn't stand up in the shower or in the tub. So those are the moments that I just say thank you, because if it had not been for her and my parents, I wouldn't be where I am today at all. So just to say thank you and everything that she ever did, that's more valuable to me than not being able to leave me riches and vehicles and land and all of those things. Those things molded me and helped me become the person I am today.
Definitely. That's a great answer. That's relationships. It's love. Unconditional love right there. Well, Sarita, we first and foremost appreciate you for sharing your time and your expertise with the Black Entrepreneur Blueprint family. BEB family, please, you know how we do it. If you need to get connected with Sarita, please follow her and getcoachedup.com or SaritaPittman.com. So, yeah, we appreciate you. And anything that you have coming out new, if you have courses or anything else, please let us know, because we definitely want to bring you back on. And sometimes we bring people back on just to see what the progress has been. So when we bring you back on next time, I don't know, you might take over the world by then. I don't know. So, all kinds of things. Hey,
long as you coming with us, you got these $64,000 questions. We can do it together. We don't have to do it individually. I tell people it takes a village for my vision. It really does.
That's what I'm talking about. That community working together always.
Absolutely.
So, Sarita, thank you so much for sharing your time. And let's definitely stay connected off of the air. And we look forward to seeing your progress as you continue to flourish, like I'm sure you will.
Thank you so much. And it's my honor and privilege. And I'm humbled that you would even share your community with me. I don't take it for granted. And I appreciate you so very much. Thank you again.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you, too. That was Miss Sarita Pittman, founder of Atira's International Coaching Academy. And I just want to give a few takeaways about today's episode. Sarita was consistent. And anytime you're trying to build a successful business, you need to be consistent. Consistent with your hours. Consistent of doing what you say you're going to do. So you need to be consistent. And ever since she was in middle school, she had been consistent with her business. Now, she was so consistent that her father, who was not an entrepreneur, decided to invest in her because she showed that consistency. And a lot of times we wonder why businesses fail, because we're not consistent. We may not be open when we say we're open. We may not do the things that, we say we do. And I understand things happen, but you definitely want to be consistent. The other big takeaway that I got from today's interview was her passion. You could hear how passionate Sarita was about her business. And the reason was she solved the puzzle. She actually is living within her genius, the intersection between your passion and your talent, and she's monetizing it. If you really think about it, family, we get jobs to pay bills, and then we try to do or work on our passions and our talents on the side. But that's backwards. Really, if we learn how to monetize our genius, which is an intersection of our passion and our talents, then you be having interviews like this with Sarita, where you could feel the passion in the interview. So that's really the big puzzle that everybody is trying to put together, and everybody's puzzle is different. So once again, being consistent and being passionate. And I'm telling you, once you start living within your genius, there's nothing like it. And I say it all the time, but I'm being 100 with y'all. There's nothing like it. So try to get to that point. The intersection between your passion and your talents is called your genius. And then you need to learn how to monetize that. Now, before we close out today, family, I just want to say thank you again, as I do each and every week. We've gotten more and more downloads, and that's attributed all to the BEB family. I love you guys, and I appreciate you so much. Please continue to spread the word about the podcast and the blog. Be Smart, Buy Black, hire Black freelancers, a new Black Wall Street, educated e-commerce, whatever. But please continue to spread the word about the podcast and the blog. Now, I've been connecting with a lot of BEB family members in this month of December for some reason. But if you guys need to reach out to me, ask me questions, or just connect, if it's anything long, just hit me on my email address at jjones@blackentrepreneurblueprint.com. And that's JAYJONES at blackentrepreneurblueprint.com. Facebook, go to Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. Twitter, jjones001, JAYJONES. Instagram, jjonesforreal, JAYJONES, the number 4, REAL. Excuse me. And YouTube. I'm about to be doing a lot more on YouTube. I have different content that comes out on YouTube, and it's going to be a whole lot of different content coming in 2019. So go to YouTube and please subscribe to my channel. Just go to YouTube and search Black Entrepreneur Blueprint and hit subscribe, and you're going to be getting a lot of additional content. Also, if you want to connect on LinkedIn, J Jones, Black Entrepreneur Blueprint, you'll find me there. Just connect, give me an invite, and we'll definitely link up and connect. Now, if you want to be included in the BEB text line for live notifications and reminders, just text BEB to 555-888, BEB to 555-888. Also, a last reminder, if you're interested in enrolling in the Educated E-Commerce online course, please feel free to do it now. $300 discount, so your investment will only be $197 versus $497. So go to educatedecommerce.com. Once you start doing the enrollment, go to the $497 enrollment, and then in the coupon code, hit SAVE300, SAVE300. And this promotion is good until Tuesday night, December 18th. Love you guys. See you same time next week. Peace.